The death of Nicole Brown Simpson is one of the most notorious crimes in Los Angeles history. Nicole Brown Simpson, 35, was found stabbed to death outside her Los Angeles home on June 12, 1994. Her boyfriend, Ron Goldman, was also stabbed to death. The crime scene was beyond description. Brown Simpson had been stabbed 12 times, with the wounds to her neck so deep that she was nearly decapitated. Goldman had been stabbed 25 times. The horrific incident sent shockwaves through the quiet Brentwood neighborhood and the rest of America. The public was further shocked when her ex-husband, football player OJ Simpson, became the prime suspect in the double murder. This is the harrowing true story of Nicole Brown Simpson's murder and how all the evidence pointed to her ex-husband OJ. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe. Nicole Brown Simpson and Augie Simpson's marriage was fraught with trouble. Nicole Brown Simpson was born in Frankfurt, West Germany, on May 19, 1959, to Louis Brown Jr. and Judy the Brown. Her mother was German and her father American, and Nicole was the second of 4 daughters. After the family moved to the United States, Nicole settled into her new home in California. She later attended Dana Hills High School in Dana Point, where she was popular and admired by her classmates. Her classmates even called her the homecoming princess. When Nicole wasn't in class, she enjoyed spending time at the beach with her friends. Nicole was fun, always happy and smiling, her former teacher Bill Prestridge said, according to the Los Angeles Times. By the time she was 18, Nicole was working as a waitress at the Daisies Club, an upscale club in Beverly Hills. There, she met OJ Simpson, a meeting that would change the course of her life forever. OJ Simpson, who was married with children and nearing the end of his athletic career, was attracted to the young waitress and continued to pursue her until she agreed to start dating him. Although he was about 12 years older than her, their relationship quickly developed and they began to spend most of their time together. OJ Simpson eventually divorced his first wife, Margaret Whitley, in 1979 and married Nicole Brown Simpson in 1985. After OJ Simpson and Nicole Brown Simpson married in 1985, the couple welcomed their daughter, Sydney, later that same year, and their son, Justin, a few years later. Nicole Brown Simpson is said to have loved being a mother and adored her 2 young children. However, her relationship with her husband was far from ideal. OJ Simpson himself has admitted that he was unfaithful to his wife throughout their marriage. Nicole Brown Simpson has also reported her husband to the police for domestic violence on several occasions that IN1 call records show Nicole repeatedly telling police, "He's going to kill me." She also expressed frustration with the lack of action authorities took when they were questioning her famous husband, saying, "You don't do anything about it. You talk to him and then leave him." The reason for this was because of her husband's fame as a football player and a beloved advertising face in the community, in addition to his connections with influential figures. OJ Simpson was once charged with spousal abuse, but after he pleaded no contest to the charge, he was sentenced to only 120 hours of community service, 2 years of probation, and a $700 fine. The couple's marriage continued to be turbulent until Nicole Brown Simpson filed for divorce in 1992, but that wasn't the last time they met. After the divorce, Nicole Brown Simpson continued to struggle with the effects of her abusive marriage. After the divorce, she tried to adjust to her new life. She was often seen in the Brentwood neighborhood. She also remained a devoted mother, taking her children to school, karate, and dance lessons. However, OJ Simpson's apparent jealousy allegedly led him to pursue his ex-wife. "I'm scared," Brown Simpson told her mother, Judy according to the New York Times. "I go to the gas station, he's there. I go to Payless shoe store, he's there. I drive by, and he's behind me." However, her friends later reported that she occasionally expressed a desire to get back together with her ex-husband. But when they reconnected, Brown Simpson found herself calling the police again to report his continued abuse. By May 1994, she seemed finally ready to move on with her life. Even when her ex-husband gave her an expensive bracelet for her birthday, she returned the jewelry to him just a week later. At that point, Brown Simpson began a friendship with Ron Goldman, a 25-year-old waiter with ambitions to open a restaurant. Some speculated that they were romantically involved, but Goldman said they were just friends. However, a mutual friend expressed concern when Goldman was seen driving Brown Simpson's Ferrari and told him that he was going to get himself into trouble with her notoriously erratic ex-husband. On June 12, 1994, Nicole Brown began her day in a seemingly normal manner. She woke up early, cooked breakfast for her children, and took them on a shopping trip. Later, she attended her daughter Sydney's dance performance with some of her family members. Once the performance was over, the family went to an Italian restaurant called Mezzaluna where Goldman was working. After leaving the restaurant, Brown Simpson's mother realized that she had forgotten her prescription sunglasses. Goldman quickly managed to retrieve the glasses and decided to go to Brown Simpson's Brentwood home to deliver them. However, this kind gesture led to Goldman being brutally murdered alongside Brown Simpson. That night, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were stabbed to death outside Brown Simpson's home. It remains unclear whether Goldman arrived home during or just before his girlfriend's murder, but he clearly ran toward her rather than trying to escape the killer, and was shown to have fought bravely by the pattern of wounds found in the forensic report. After the crime, Brown Simpson's Akita began howling, alarming her neighbors. Some of them eventually went outside to investigate, alarmed to see the dog running up and down the street with blood covering her paws. Sometime around midnight, the dog led concerned neighbors to the grisly crime scene near Brown Simpson's home. After police arrived at the crime scene and identified the victims as Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, they immediately began to suspect OJ Simpson. Brown Simpson had a troubled past with her ex-husband, and she was killed alongside a male friend. Her loved ones agreed, especially after learning how she died. According to CBS News, her sister Denise later said, "When we found out she was killed with a knife, it was like, oh my God, she was so afraid of knives. There was only one person who knew she was so afraid of knives, other than her family, and that was Simpson." On June 17, 1994, O.J. Simpson was supposed to turn himself into police, but instead led authorities on a famous slow-speed chase that was watched by millions of Americans on television. It was a plan concocted by his lawyer to gain public and media sympathy for him, and in the end he led the police to his property where he surrendered, but he insisted on his innocence. The so-called trial of the century began in January 1995, where millions of Americans watched the trial with the same intensity as they watched the car chase. Many people were drawn to the sensational and scandalous aspects of the case, including the fame, stardom, and troubled relationship between Augie and Nicole Brown Simpson, the brutal nature of the crime itself, and the racial issues that were exploited to the benefit of the case. As Augie was African American and Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were both white. For many in Los Angeles, it was hard to ignore that this trial occurred so soon after the Rodney King riots. During the trial, many pieces of evidence seemed to point to O.J. Simpson's guilt, including his blood found at the crime scene. He had a cut on his finger when he was first questioned by police, bloody footprints at the scene that matched Simpson's shoe size and unique type, and strands of hair recovered from Ron Goldman's shirt that matched Simpson's hair. Despite this, and due to judicial corruption, O.J. Simpson was found not guilty of the murders on October 3, 1995, to mixed reactions among Americans. His loved ones strongly opposed the verdict. "I was sitting there," said her sister, Denise. "I couldn't scream. I couldn't cry. I couldn't do anything. I was sitting there." And the way they handled the case poorly in the way, O.J. Simpson's attorney, Johnny Cochran, turned it into a racial case, rather than a case of a man who killed two people. In 1997, the Brown-Simpson family and the Golden family won a wrongful death civil suit against Simpson. He was ordered to pay $33.5 million to the families, but he only paid a small portion of that before he died at the age of 76 on April 10, 2024. Even after his death, his estate is still fighting to pay the families the money they are owed. Despite all the tragedies they have experienced, Nicole Brown Simpson's loved ones hope she will be remembered as more than just a murder victim. She was a loving mother, a beloved daughter and sister, and a devoted friend whose promising young life was cut tragically short. And here we come to the end of a story that I hope you like. Don't forget to like and subscribe.